Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So in today's episode, has Richard Hart just made another GOAT move to help back pDAI with HEX Collateral? So we've got a couple of tweets here from Nineironcapital. So one of the great pDAI blockchain analysts is predicting that the Hex OA is making these moves, and these moves are something to do with creating encapsulated stakes, which can help collateralize pDAI. So we'll have a look at some of what Richard Hart has said on the matter in the past as well. So going to go through a few of his clips. And also Charles Hoskinson. Is Charles Hoskinson suing Pulsechain for ADA? Or is this just FUD? Or is it just someone memeing the FUD? I don't know. And then, of course, we're going to continue with the Atropa Genesis liquidity setups. Lots to look at today. There was something very interesting that I discovered in there today. So that will be towards the end of the episode. So if you've been enjoying that, then please stick around. And so now I'm going to get into the shared screen, and I apologize in advance because my computer is extremely wrecked at the minute. So we'll just do the best that we can with what we have here. So 2 days. Also, yes, 2 days, Puffy. We got the 2 days. So things are really ramping up. I saw Moon King. I think I saw Moon King say something similar as well. Something's happening in 2 days. So what's going on, Alex? What's going on, Michael Shaw? Make sure we get some screenshots of CZ if we ever see him. Good morning, Ivy. And good morning, Fran. Oh, actually, good evening. You're Australian, so good evening, Ivy. I got good morning here from Frank Lloyd White. So what's going on, Eater Sync? Oh, Matt, what's going on? So, all right, let's get into it. So I'll just quickly diversify, feel my pulse, and roasting in South Australia today. Hex Amigo. Yeah, it's always humid in Brisbane. So South Australia, I've never been there before. I got to go there one day. So, okay. So Richard Hart's comment. So this was a few hours ago. So we're going to go through this. Then we're going to go through some of the clips of Richard Hart. So Richard Hart's comments are really timely, given what the Hex OA has just done with, actually I'll zoom in on this, with the EHEX and pHEX. Epic find, Pulse Recycled. Richard Hart is about to plug his encapsulated stake into pMaker to collateralize the vaults. This has nothing to do with yield. pDAI is inevitable. So let's have a look at what Richard Hart has said on that particular matter. So he's just linked a video there. So build layer 2 encapsulated stake. So what's Richard saying here? So let's listen to what he's saying and we'll go comment on it.
Originally wanted to have seen people build layer 2 encapsulated stakes and then issuing shares of HEX stakes on other chains or on other networks. But then I switched my mind on it, and I'll tell you why. You know, the Grayscale Trust is the same thing. It's encapsulated Bitcoin ownership. So the Grayscale Trust raises money through private placement memorandums for private investors. They use that money to purchase Bitcoin. And then those people that invested in the private placement, they don't have any right to redemption. They can't actually turn those shares back into Bitcoin. The only thing they can do is after they wait 6 months, resell those shares on the open market, OTCQS, et cetera. And historically, there's been about a 20% premium. Recently, there's been a discount. So if you think about it from that perspective, the Grayscale Trust just buys Bitcoin and never sells it. How could that possibly be bad for price? I mean, that seems like the most beautiful, glorious thing you could ever have for price. And from that perspective, encapsulated HEX shares would be the same thing. So a 15-year stake gets created and people are buying shares in it. Well, it's going to be 15 years till you're going to see those HEX on the main chain again. So I'm actually bullish on encapsulated stakes and encapsulated HEX shares and other networks. And the code's already done for it. It's open sourced. You could deploy it on another chain if you wanted to go through the work of doing it. I haven't had time. We've also got a wallet, a HEX wallet that's done.
Okay, so obviously Richard loves the idea of encapsulated stakes, and he says it's very bullish, which is kind of strange because I know that he's criticized Grayscale a lot. So I'm a little bit confused by his sentiment there. That there's always this premium, but I suppose with the Hex OA stakes, it's not really anything that's he's ever planning on selling. So what we did see there, or what we did hear there, obviously that he is very bullish on the idea. And he's just staked 90%, or pretty much like over 70% of pHEX and over 90% of EHEX is now staked of the origin address. So he's gone all out on this. So that's one particular clip. So we'll continue with this. So someone asks here, Shaka Vibes, are you saying Richard Hart didn't do native stakes? He did do native stakes, but these stakes can be encapsulated in a smart contract and reused. Hedron does this already. He's about to create a liquid market for staked HEX as a collateral to back pDAI. Native stakes can't be encapsulated into Hedron stakes. They need to be created as Hedron stakes to start with. Does Hedron have to do with what the hell does Hedron have to do with it, bro? He's saying that's what Hedron does. Hedron doesn't encapsulate native stakes. Go and read Grayscale's offering document. Money comes in. You never own the HEX. You only own an ownership right in the value of the OA bag. Watch this video here. Okay, well, there we go. So obviously someone here is saying, well, it relies on Hedron. So you need Hedron to actually, well, with the existing contracts, Hedron is a way of doing it. I guess if he's already staked it, it's going to be interesting to see how that's actually going to play out. But now let's have a look at this second video. So this is where he's talking about you only own the ownership right in the value of the OA. So watch this video here. So now this is the next one. HEX is a collateral asset.
Against it with the staked HEX as a collateral asset.
And then people get to discover what liquidation means, because there is price volatility. And then those liquidations turn into what? Market sells. So
there is a risk. There is a risk. So this is all just speculation. Obviously, we don't have any evidence for this. We're just speculating.
You want to get leverage, you want to get loans, go encumber some other asset that's not your HEX. That's what I'd prefer.
So you realize there's liquidation risk, which would be catastrophic. So you don't want there to be a way to borrow against staked
Well, it wouldn't
HEX.
necessarily be catastrophic. It's still a ratio of how many people are on-ramping to how many people are off-ramping. But like, you know, and I do see eventually there will be encapsulated stakes, and encapsulated stakes will allow you to get the liquidity you want while still earning sick yield. So, you know, that code's already written. I think it's already open sourced. A guy named Firebun wrote it. And I would like to see it deployed on other chains to give those other chains a reason for being. Hey guys, your chain doesn't suck as much anymore because HEX is here now. So congrats.
Wait, are you describing software that would allow you to borrow against your HEX that's staked?
Well, it would make it tradable. So right now, if you have a HEX stake, you can't trade it. But if you trade shares in a giant HEX stake, so someone makes a giant HEX stake, and then you have shares in it that you can trade, it acts, they're like bonds. So then, you know, it would allow you to encumber and allow it to be liquidated and do all those other things. Like you could take your HEX bonds and, you know, maybe like there's some interesting game theory, like, you know, if Compound or AAVE or AAVA or whatever it is, decides to like make their front ends operate on Pulsechain,
right?
There's a chance that they just enable some new assets which are also on Pulsechain, like maybe HEX, maybe Pulse, and maybe encapsulated, you know, stakes, and then you could get all of that leverage and options and all that other crap you want on your stakes. And then to the tier one, to the layer one HEX system, you would just see increasing stake lengths because people may open up a 15-year stake that then they're selling shares in. And then you've got, you know, the counterparty, the smart contract risk of the encapsulation, but you also have, you know, more flexibility. Like you can get out. But to the tier one HEX system, it's just going to look like, Grayscale basically. Like Grayscale is a system where it only buys Bitcoin and never sells it. And then it brings in money that otherwise wouldn't have come in from legacy finance. That's awesome. Well, an encapsulated HEX stake is quite similar in that it just buys the HEX and much never sells it because it's probably going to be a 15-year stake that they're sharing in. And then it's, I believe, will be good for price. So
I like.
Interesting. So it introduces volatility and it introduces risk, but still his sentiment towards the concept is more bullish than bearish. So his thesis is that it's going to bring in more liquidity into the system and also bringing in traditional financial liquidity into the system because it gives them products that they're familiar with investing in. So very, very interesting. So pDAI, yes, I do have this one here as well. On new post by Decentralize me about the same video. Okay, I haven't got that one up actually. I might have a look at that one. But we'll just play This very last one here, I don't know what he says in this one. I looked at the other ones, but not this one.
Work on Pulse Chain because of the collateral. What do you think of DAI and how would the maker token perform? I mean, it's going to perform just as crappily because it's backed by 40% or 30% USDC, and on Pulse, that USDC will only have the value the market gives it because it won't have a redeemable value. So I would assume, I mean, you're going to need market price discovery on all these things. And there's a lot of complexity there. Liquidations, liquidation bots,
Some of which have just been built for PMaker, and they've been tested as well, the liquidation bots.
They've got some admin key crap that changes some parameters. It's not truly trustless. It's a little trustless, but, a lot of USDT and a lot of USDC being used as collateral. I think their ETH collateral is only 10%. So it seems to me like the majority of the collateral holding up DAI is things that have huge counterparty risk with admin keys, unfortunately.
Interesting. Okay, now just want to go through this new pDAI Maxi Nineironcapital. So going into the encapsulation. So he's suggesting that encapsulation is RH's goal, which makes it surreal to see two wallets have been testing out a smart contract that burns and mints from the zero wallet into other wallet. You can see it working on PMaker below. Is this the encapsulation smart contract being tested? pDAI to $1. ZHEX. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Right. Okay, that's interesting. So he's theorizing that whatever is interesting. Okay, well, he's showing it there, ZHEX. There's nothing else on the blockchain that will say ZHEX. So maybe he's basically suggesting that is possibly an encapsulated stake. So firstly, I want to acknowledge that I need help on this. I've decompiled every smart contract launched by both wallets below, and they seem to be iterations of each other, but candidly, I cannot understand them completely. Comments from those that can is appreciated. So here is the 15 F2 wallet burning ZHEX from the PMaker address as a way to flag for someone to find this on chain. DS token, Zumba Hex. Zumba Hex, that's interesting. Okay. The 15 F2 wallet and the 70E7 wallets are both funded by Pulsechain's Tornado Cash. Yes, it is alive and well. ZKZX. That was dead for a while as far as I knew. Here are the three wallets. So one ECF and then the Tornado Cash. Okay, so here is the example of this contract minting ZHEX, which pretends to come from none other than Two Spookies wallets. What? Here is an example of this contract minting ZHEX. This threw me off initially as this person had fought us religiously the entire time, but then you realize this is the point. What? So what? So apparently one of these wallets is Two Spookies wallet, and Two Spookies been messing around with this. This threw me off initially as this person has fudded us religiously the entire time. I mean, he's fudded pDAI religiously, but he still holds it and he still wants it to succeed. He just doesn't believe that it can. So I wouldn't say that he's like fudded it as such, but I just want to see while that loads. So here's an example. Yep. So the anonymous address wanted to make it seem like it was too spooky, so people would think it is a poison contract and would stop analyzing it. It works for a while, but then the contract owner trolls twos pretty hard, and so a deep dive reveals he have nothing to do with it. Okay, all right. Okay. Zumba Hex. This is clear when looking through the transaction from the 70E7 contract, which seems to be where development moved to once the 15F2 contract deployment code was refined. Look at this contract minting and burning from Maria Rahel's wallet. Oh, let's have a look at that. That's cheeky. So this is the Zumba 33 days ago. Remove liquidity. Is this? I mean, he made it sound like it was very recent, but that was 33 days ago. 34 days. Okay, all right. So this happened a while ago. 34 days ago. And the last... the last transaction was 33 days ago. I like that. I definitely like that. I'm going to close that. My computer's going to really struggle through this. I just know it. Then comes the exciting one. A test using RH's HEX deployer wallet. Most of you will remember the 98cc wallet. To reiterate at this point, there is no proof this is Richard Hart, just an anonymous coder minting, burning, and transferring from and to other people's wallets, including the Zero wallet. This is theoretically exactly what an encapsulated stake might look like. So an encapsulated stake, you can trade. So obviously you can, if you encapsulate it through the Hedron contract, then you can actually sell your HEX stake. You can sell it on the market. And so they have value according to the Hedron price. So you can swap, you can buy and sell them for Hedron. So it's a very cool concept. So I would love someone to decode these contracts for me. It seemed clear that these contracts look and feel very much like a wrapper to send, receive, and tabulate the balances of ownership, but more confirmation would be appreciated. Every single time during the pDAI journey, that more information was needed, it was provided. Why did this wallet interact with PMaker? Why connect it to the 3414 Maria wallet? Maybe the old Maria wallet? I don't know if that's the Maria wallet. 3414 or F. I'm not sure if that's the Maria wallet or not. I have to double check that. Because there's other 414s. Let me have just a quick look on here. So as I scroll up, scroll. Scroll. I just want to confirm Maria's wallet. 501, Atropa Dev. Maybe here we go. All right, Atropa Dev. Okay, yeah, 37F3414. Interesting. I mean, this is Maria's old wallet, by the way. So, this is 4 weeks ago. This was long before Maria, long after Maria transferred all of his assets. So, to the best of my knowledge, that wallet is like dead. There might still be stuff there. 175 million pulse. Oh, he's still got tons of tokens in here. Maybe he didn't transfer all of it. Maybe he just started doing new work in the 501 wallet, 2501 wallet. Look at this. Baby Atropa. I'm with Richard Hart. So that's what you can see in his Louis the Duckling. So you got Greg the Duck and Louis the Duckling. Oh shit. Super Saiyan. So people just will the highest of stakes. People will make all sorts of stuff and send it to him. Thank you, Mr. 414 Goat. What a concept. Coach. Coach. What a concept. Coach X. He loves saying what a concept. I said, yep, what a concept. Okay, so a lot of these tokens actually don't really appear to be any Atropa related tokens. Oh, here we go. He's got some teddy bears still in there. So not much though. So yeah, interesting. So now that the OA is ready to stake for 555 days, it changes the option to create utility with that stake because it takes utility from HEX. There is now only one option, an encapsulated stake to back Pulsechain's native stable. pDAI to $1 is inevitable. He loves signing off with pDAI to $1. Loves it. We'll give that a retweet. I love this. Hang on, let me see how this goes with all these yeah, usually with all these big tweets, people will look like at the first thing, and then I notice this with all my big tweets. They end up dying as you go down. So, but then interestingly enough, the last one's got a lot of views, maybe from some retweets. So, okay, there we go. So, and then what? Decentralize Me, we said. Just had another post. Let's have a look at the Decentralize Me new tweet about this particular issue. I'm going to close up some of these things so I can start freeing up some computer space. Okay, so this is based on that video. So pDAI is close to moving into the collateralization phase. The HEX OA has staked the majority of its supply for 15 years. Pulse Recycled found that years ago, Richard spoke of encapsulating HEX stakes and using it as a collateral asset within various protocols, including Compound and Aave, both of which have been taken over and worked on Pulsechain. So that's also, boy, encapsulating stakes works much like liquid staking, where a user stakes an asset and mints themselves a token of equal value that accrues interest. Richard is able to collateralize the vaults using a derivative of his HEX stakes. HEX holders will be able to do the same. They can create long-term stakes, collateralize a PMaker vault with their wrapped stake of equivalent value, and mint themselves $1 pDAI, earning interest while getting immediate access to their liquidity. Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, holy shit. If it is approved as a backing asset for borrowing against, HEX OGs have won. If they can borrow pDAI from their 15-year stakes, HEX OGs have won. They've won the game. But it just seems like a market of just like hyper pumps. There has to be some sort of equilibrium. It seems like there's too many bullish things that are too good to be true. So there's something that just I'm not sure. I don't know. It just because if every HEX staker with their 15-year stakes, I guess maybe there'd be a risk then. I guess if the HEX stakes end up getting traded and they have a certain value, then there is a risk of liquidation. But if HEX OGs just, if HEX OGs just all work together, like literally everybody work together to just collateralize their HEX stakes and then just buy against it, it's kind of impossible to lose. But that would require everybody working together, which is an impossibility in markets. So this is incredibly bullish for HEX, pDAI, and all of Pulsechain. So the collateral types look to be wrapped stake HEX, Pulsechain, and PulseX. pDAI is and always has been the plan to pump this chain. The rest remains the same. You'll not be able to burn for someone else's personal vault content as it works in Maker and ETH. The only change is that the HEX collateral type will in fact be a wrapped stake. So Richard is a genius. Who knows? HEX holders may decide to buy more HEX with their $1 pDAI, then stake that, then collateralize a vault. Exactly. That's just exactly what I said. So that would be like the goat move for HEX OGs to really literally just work together to keep collateralizing their vaults and pumping their stakes. It's like the holy grail, because as you're buying more HEX and staking more HEX, the value of your HEX is going up, so your collateral is always going up. So I guess, even if there's just enough whales, if there's enough fat whales that are basically moving with this kind of an idea, then it presents a very interesting future for Pulsechain and HEX. So, okay, I'm just going to go through some of these comments before I get to the next part. So, can you show me and send me a link where I can look at these contracts? I can read them. Yeetasync. I tweeted out. Damn it. Sorry, man. I just closed that tweet. But yeah, Nineironcapital. Definitely go have a look. The Nineironcapital tweet I retweeted. So either look on my page or his page. It looks like this tech is being tested on tokens like Treasury Bill. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Things like the Fed, for example, where you can mint the Fed. Exactly. The one-to-one Fed. So this idea of like minting Exactly. Great point. Great point. Stelio Cantos, sick name. It is a sick name, to be perfectly honest. So what's going on, TS Pedro? This is the equilibrium. We had 6 weeks of the utter despair and depression since Christmas in the community. I mean, yeah, that's a down, and then this is an up. An equilibrium is a stable state. So that's going to be. I've got some theories about how that can work based on what I'm seeing, but it's probably not something that I'm going to explain in this particular video. So all fun and games until someone full clips their bag. So, well, exactly. So this is the problem. So if you can also sell your hex stakes, I guess that's it. There you go. So there's still going to be a market for it because there's going to be a percentage of hex people that are going to just collateralize they're going to borrow against their hex stakes. They're going to create liquid versions of their hex stakes and collateralize them, and then borrow against it and then buy hex and pump their bags. But there's also going to be a percentage of hex stakers that are going to keep they're going to keep that liquid, and they're going to sell the pumping value of the hex stakes or the pumping value of the hex token. So it's still going to create a market. So yeah, I guess there you go. So there's the equilibrium there. It's like, it's never ever too good to be true. It's never too good to be true. BB just reloaded my Atropa bags. Good stuff, man. Yeah, looks like now's a pretty decent time. So did I retweet this out? I sure did. All right, let's move on to the next part. So breaking news. Charles Hoskinson has issued a cease and desist against ADA on Pulsechain. You can't stop the blockchain, Charles. I'm not too. I am now 100% convinced that it is indeed the actual IOK Charles in our Telegram chat, a billionaire chain founder trying to stop the real Cardano. We live in a simulation. Thank you, I'm Shill Gates. I find it very difficult to believe that this is true, simply because there's literally, maybe because of the ticker, maybe he can get us on the actual ticker. Cease and desist from any and all use of the ticker ADA on Pulsechain or any related networks, platforms, or promotional materials, or any related networks. Because it's on remove all references to ADA that may falsely indicate an association with Cardano. Confirm in writing within 7 days of the date of this level that you have complied with these demands. So who's it going to? It has come to our attention that an entity operating on it is improperly utilizing the ticker. Who's it going to go to? Who are they going to sue? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure who this letter is actually going to go to. Who's the one that's going to turn it off? It's going to have to be the 718 wallet. But it's on the blockchain now. You can't really do anything about it. So how are you going to cease and desist? If you can change the name, but I'm not too sure that you can actually change the name once it's loaded on pump tires, once it's launched. I don't think you can change the name once it's on the blockchain. And yeah, there's definitely ADAs on other networks as well. I've seen them on Solana. I've seen them on Base. So yeah, I'm very skeptical about this, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, like you said, it's a meme. So I hope you're well too, Ink Maxi. Krieger for Christus. It's not backing Hex. It's backing Hex, not pDAI. Lol. No, that's what we're theorizing here, that the Hex collateral, the Hex can be used as collateral to back pDAI. So no, it's backing pDAI, not Hex. I don't know how the Hex stake is going to back Hex. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, I'm not too sure where you would think about where you would get that perspective from. You're more than welcome to share it. I'd love to share it, but I don't see how that would actually work. But I've never really thought about it. I've only thought about it from the perspective of what Decentralized Me and Nineironcapital were talking about, that the Hex stakes can be basically used to collateralize the vaults. So so now, oops, we can close that one. Wow, makes Hex much more scarce and makes it much harder to get. Yeah, in a way. Oh, the massive stakes certainly do. The massive stakes certainly do. So you guys are in an echo chamber. Yeah, I've spoken about this. I've spoken about this yesterday. Cuts inflation in half. We've spoken about this. Yeah, the hex, like staking all the hexes, cuts the inflation in half. So you can look at it from the negative perspective or the positive perspective. So the negative perspective is that each individual holder is going to get less yield. The positive perspective is that each individual holder is going to get less yield to dump on the market. So the OA doesn't dump on the market. So it's bullish for the price. So yeah, that's the way that I'm looking at it. But yeah, of course, there is also the downside of that too. So so now just comparing, obviously just seeing the rotations again, it's just the same. It's just exactly the same. So until this breaks, I'm just going to keep watching this daily. So this is pDAI now with most. So this is on the 4 hour, and you can see obviously this is dipped and then this is pumped. So this is really pumped and respected that 1 cent mark. So until we see some kind of reversal here, but honestly, my honest thesis is, because they're not liquidity bonded. They're inversely correlated at the moment because the liquidity from here and Atropa is flowing into these pump tires tokens. So my honest thesis is, I don't know when the date is going to be. Let's just say that it's going to be around about now. My honest thesis is it's going to do this, and then it's going to do the opposite for this. It's going to go boom, something like this, right? So that's my thinking around it. So how long this process takes, who knows? But this is what I'm kind of seeing, that all the Atropa Pt I assets are going to go lower as the liquidity flows out of there to pump the shit out of this. And yeah, then the market makers are just going to do a big switcheroo. So once this breaks and reaches all-time highs, then they're going to do, then it might end up being like similar to what happened with Atropa and Pulsechain, where they become like thoroughly bonded. So maybe it'll get to a point where it reaches some kind of all-time high, and then it drops, and then this reaches some kind of all-time low, and then it drops. Then it starts to rise up. It starts to rise up, and then both of these will start being liquidity bonded. So they'll start moving in sync, in the same way that Atropa and pDAI and Pulsechain all move in sync, or relatively in sync, due to the liquidity bonding. That's the kind of play that I'm seeing happen here, where they're inversely related until the liquidity like gets blended enough between the two of them, and then they'll start moving together. So this now could be the real opportunity to really take advantage of this scenario if you don't chase. In what I mean by don't chase is, if you're going to buy it when it gets up here and it's all-time high, like you're really risking it, because maybe this is going to be down here. And this is pure speculation. This might not happen. This is just one scenario that I'm speculating on. So if you then go, oh, I'm going to jeet my pDAI now, I got to get into this run, but your risk is increasing. It's really like now that you want to buy these tokens while they're down here. Maybe it drops one more little thing like this, and then it takes off. I'm not too sure. Normally, that's kind of what you see, where it will just kind of like capitulate through this to make everyone not believe and just sell and jeet, because the market makers rely on the jeets. The market makers rely on the jeets to make their bags bigger. So the hex stake back hex because it's burned and reminted on end stake. So good for hex price. Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's good for hex price as well. But again, I was just talking about it from the perspective of using it as collateral to back pDAI. So I appreciate your point of view. It's not about pDAI though. Hex is, yeah, I mean, you could be completely right, bro. I mean, this is all just like, I like the speculation of pDAI. I love the narrative. I love the concept of it. I love the idea of creating a first truly decentralized stablecoin on Pulsechain. I love that idea, but you're dead right. This all could just be like just so much hopium and echo chamber cope. We really don't know. I try to be as neutral as possible, but I can't help but get excited by the idea. I love the idea so much that I want it to succeed. So ink inflation reduced again. Really? Wow. So I wonder if he's really wanting people to more exit the farms, maybe, to really encourage people to exit the farms. That's interesting. Okay. I think pDAI does a flush down another 30%. I mean, I think so too. I think we're going to see something like that. Yeah, 30%. Okay, 30%. Yeah, down to the 8 cent mark. That's a pretty good guesstimate, I reckon. So this is also true, Stelio. So Pulsechain is like Hex is his baby, but Pulsechain is his legacy. So this is something to really Ink bags 2x. What's going on? Yeah, Ink Goldie. Ink is just. I'm pretty sure Ink's flying. So yeah, probably not Fred Flint, but it's what's happening. So nobody's doing it, but people clearly are doing it. So it's not a matter of like opinion. It's the facts of the data. It's the facts of what's actually happening. So as this is going up, this is going down. They're inversely correlated. So the liquidity is flowing out of these assets into these assets. This doesn't. It could just be market makers because they can move charts. They can actually move charts. So it could just be them and then just jeets that are selling and trading within that. So, but I don't think the smart people are going to be selling their bags. I don't think so. Or maybe they might do like a tiny percentage. So Snow Moon tomorrow, 7 days are up. Will it peg Snow Moon? All right, here we go. So most is a shit coin. It is, but it's an RH shit coin. So, I mean, he was tweeting about it exactly. So yeah, man, if we get if we succeed on that, my pleasure, Krieger, and thank you for challenging my perspective because I'm always trying to be open-minded. I always want to stay open. I could be completely wrong. So thank you for sharing your perspective, man. I really appreciate it. So how many pDAI holders have 5 million pDAI? I'm not too sure. And I guess we could quickly check. Oh man, that'll take me ages to check actually, because there'll be people in the billions. I guess we can just have maybe a very quick look. But why would that matter for you, BB? Just curious, or? Yeah, I mean, I guess this is how you. This is actually that's probably a smart way of analyzing it. To be honest, you could probably look at look at the top holders and see what's actually happening with the top holders, and if their token supply reduces. So 23 billion in circulation. I would say also not a lot of people have over 5 million tokens, Jerome. This top holders page is going to be contracts. All right, while that loads, there were people that were talking about re-entering the farms when incentive token reached a high enough price. So it looks like he lowered the incentive again. Yeah, maybe he's doing it deliberately for that. So, all right. So the top holder has 313 million. What? I thought the top like there was the supposed Richard Hart wallet which had like billions, like 5 billion. Maybe that's well, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, wasn't there a Richard Hart? Like Richard Hart was supposedly owning 5, or maybe it's between like all of these wallets total that it's 5 billion, possibly. But I thought he was supposed to own like 5 billion. All right, there's a lot of holders. Wow, man, Jesus. Just imagine having 40 million pDAI. Which one of these is Stylo's wallet? Oh man, imagine it gets to $1 and you held on to like, I mean, even just to be perfectly honest, even 1 million is amazing. But imagine having like double digit millions. That's just wild. That's really just wild. So, all right. Anyway, there's a lot there. So we'll get on to the next part here. I'll just go through some of these comments. The Fed token treasury bill. I looked at that yesterday. I had a sneak peek again at it today. It's looking like it's recovering. So it's looking okay. It's looking okay to me. So what's up, Conspiracy Crypto? All right, let's move on to the next stage here. So what's happened here? this already is not showing. Well, that sucks. So now we're going to go through this very start of the month of September for the Atropa Genesis. So again, I might just very briefly go over this. I don't need to go into too much detail. I just want to quickly skim to see what's actually happening. So MV is going, well, actually, I'll tell you what, to me, this was one of the very, 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 very interesting points that I saw today when I did this. Very, very extraordinarily, very incredibly, mega interesting is this. It started off at 1-to-1 with pDAI. Now it's heading back towards 1-to-1. It's basically 10-to-1 ratio at the minute, MV to pDAI. And there's a lot happening with Treasury bill and MV, and well, there's the Fed and Treasury bill, MV, Treasury bill, and I don't know. It's just, I just saw this. I saw this and I'm like, something could be going on here. Like another affection pDAI, MV, pDAI kind of relationship going on here. The fact that, I mean, it was very clearly dumped down to the 1. Then it's just dumped to the strength of pDAI. But now pDAI is really, like the liquidity is really spreading out into the ecosystem. So now it's spreading out into MV a lot. So, but then also again, probably MV prices like really just pumped a lot. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to take note of. And same with Atropa. It's obviously going to be same kind of relationship. So now this is Teddy Bear 9, Japanese Teddy Bear 9. Nothing, doesn't really say much. Doesn't really, these also, they're not really telling me much. First Pulse Mutual Bond is something that I want to understand on a deeper level, because conceptually of what it is, and the more that I'm studying Maria's Genesis, the ecosystem, the more that I'm realizing like the naming of things is like extremely deliberate. They're not just arbitrary names. It's extremely deliberate. So First Pulse Mutual Bond, and then I know that you can actually like, so for example, which one is it? The mint.aff.icu. The First Pulse Mutual Bond, you can mint that against, you burn certain tokens to mint that token. So Atropa, First Pulse Mutual Bond, and there's Teddy Bear 9 as well in there. So Teddy Bear 9 is another one that you burn a shitload of tokens for to get the Teddy Bear 9, and there's a profit in there of like 20,000. So so this is, so yeah, you're going to burn one legal, 500 of these, 900 of those, 999 of those, 330. So at the moment you're running that at a loss, but its costs 724, and the return is 582. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on this in the future as we head towards a bear market. I'll be keeping my eyes on this sort of thing here. So, oh man, so many comments. All right, so the Don. What's going on, the Don? Come on, what Don? That sounds wrong, but I don't know if you're just saying, come on. All right, we got MV Treasury. Kind of, yeah, this is probably why MV is pumping a lot recently, actually, because of everything that's going on with Treasury. So the Don, yes, you definitely should, Don. You definitely should. I don't know if you knew how to do that, but if you didn't know how to do that, you definitely should. If you didn't know this website, you definitely should. And you definitely should send your boy 50% for sharing you this alpha. Obviously not, I'm just kidding. But Don, so 100 of these, 500 of these, 9 bullion 8, one up, so one ha, this much teddy bear. And so it costs, see, it's getting smaller and smaller, bro. It costs 141 thousand, and you get a return of 147,000. This return used to be like 137,000. Sorry, this return used to be like it's 4 figures now. The return used to be 5 figures. So, I mean, you're still getting a $10,000 return. So basically, you mint it, then you sell your Teddy Bear 9 into Pulsechain. Now, well, we're back into 5 figures. You sell your Teddy Bear 9 into Pulsechain and then buy these assets up all over again. So you're basically just arbitraging this opportunity. So you basically sell burn these, mint this, sell it into Pulsechain, buy those assets back, burn them, buy those assets back, burn it, mint it, sell it, buy the assets back, burn it, mint it, sell it, buy the assets back, so on and so forth, until this difference becomes like 0. This is what I was doing with this is what I was doing with some of the affection stuff. That's what it's all about. That's the whole game. So yeah, if you actually have those assets, Don, you can't lose. Like, you actually can't lose, because basically this is telling you what it's worth. So this is telling you that the value of these tokens combined is worth 141,000, and the return is 151,000 on the because one Teddy Bear 9 is worth 151,000. So if you can sell that without any slippage, then you're going to get 10,200. You're going to get that profit, right? So then you get a 10,000 difference. So then you'll buy these assets back. So you'll spend another 141,000. You'll burn them, and again. But then as you keep buying these assets back, the cost is going to go up because these assets are going to get pumped, and this price is going to go down because it's going to get sold. So maybe now the difference is 10,000. You do it another time, it'll be 9,000, then 8,000, then 7,000, then 6,000, then so on and so forth. So this is like, if I had these assets, I would sit here and do this. I would sit here and do this. It won't take you long. You just approve it, you mint it. I would literally like spend a couple of hours doing this, and you basically, like, it's just free money sitting there. There's like tens of thousands of dollars sitting there for free. So if you've got those tokens, Don, mint.aff.icu. Conspiracy Crypto. Yeah, that was the website, mint.aff.icu. So I don't like to burn Bullion 8. But that's the thing, bro. You might burn Bullion 8, but then you could just buy it back. That's the thing. So it doesn't matter. Like, you'll burn it, but then you're buying it back. So you'll basically, what have I got here? So let me bring this one up here. Let's go here. All right, so you basically, all of these tokens, this is the process. All of those tokens, you'll burn them, and then you get one of the Teddy Bear 9. And then you're going to have a $10,000, or let's say you swap, well, let's just keep it into the US dollar because it makes it just easier to understand. So then, sorry, you're selling it for this much USD, and so then you're going to have a profit of 10,000. But then what's going to happen is, then you're going to lose again. That you're basically going to spend what, 141, another 141 to then repurchase all of these assets. Or in your case, you probably could just repurchase Bullion 9, and then you're minting this, and then there's going to be a profit. But now, obviously, because you've sold it, its value is going to drop. So it might end up being like, I don't know, 149,000. So your return might only end up being 8,000 USD, for example. And then you'll do it again. And now this time, the cost for these, so then you're going to rebuy all these assets again. But this time, the cost for rebuying all those assets is going to be maybe 143,000. and then to buy this back, it'll be like 146,000 or something like this, and then you're only going to have like a $3,000 profit. So basically, there'll be a point where that will become equalized. So I don't know why you wouldn't do it. There's literally no risk. All I would do if I was you is just look at the Bullion 8. Just look at the liquidity paths and see if there's enough liquidity paths to buy those assets back without slipping against yourself. Because if you go, all right, yeah, I've got the profit in Pulsechain and I was able to sell this easily, but then you're not able to buy these assets back because the liquidity paths are not strong enough. I reckon you'll be able to do this like maybe 3 to 5 times before it doesn't become profitable. And all this is happening on all these tokens. So this is what happened with Reserve Tear. So basically, this is what that principle is there. So people would have minted burn treasury to mint the Fed at certain points. They would have done it with all these, so all these required treasury bills. So that's probably why. So then, like, there's this token which is now probably so this is I think this is writing. So now it's not worth it to do it. So because basically the value of this is you're losing. The only one that you're actually gaining is Teddy Bear 9, conjuring the Teddy Bear 9. So, and then also I'm pretty sure like Teddy Bear 9 has like a very special place in the Dysnomia game. So Bullion 8 should reach Bullion gold price, at least an ounce of, for sure, man. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, you just buy it back. You would just buy it back. So anyway, it's up to you if you want to do that or not, but there you go. So, okay. So back into this. So Bullion and Teddy Bear. I mean, for me, that's quite interesting that Bullion seems to have the power against Teddy Bear. Really quite interesting. So because Teddy Bear is like strong against everything, but Bullion is really strong against Teddy Bear. So the Teddy Bear backs the treasury and Bullion maybe is part of that. I've always loved this ratio. Wraps Bitcoin to, so this is something you could do as well, Don. You could keep some of that, or maybe if you've got wrapped Bitcoin, buy some of this. Like, boy, like this is a. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna stay the same. We can only hope and pray, especially if you're just watching now. I've shown this ratio before, and I didn't actually act on it, but it looks to be doing the same thing. I mean, look at the way that it respected here. So it looks like it's like an extremely good ratio swap. If you like both of these tokens, what a swap right now, swapping your wrap Bitcoin to Teddy Bear 9. If I had those assets, that's what I would do, but I don't have those assets. But if I did, that's exactly what I would do. So First Pulse Mutual Bond also is bullish against Teddy Bear. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that also very, very interesting? So First Pulse Mutual Bond and Bullion are bullish against Teddy Bear. So I thought that was quite interesting. So these are some of the ratios that wouldn't show. So this is Bullion against 2. There seems to be a very respectable ratio occurring here as well. This was Teddy Bear 9 to upside down R. And then this one is First Pulse Mutual Bond and Bullion. So there's probably going to be some sort of very respectable kind of, there looks to be a very stabilized kind of ratio happening around this kind of a region, doesn't there? So, okay. So now, to me, I couldn't go through all, like, I couldn't believe September. Maria really cooked a lot in September. The dev was cooking hardcore in September. So now I could only just do up to the double digits of September because there was just so much. But I found this to be an extraordinarily interesting one. So this is the writing contract. So no, sorry, is this reading or writing? So let me just double. I think this is writing. This is the writing contract. So on his GitHub, this is the writing contract. And what was interesting about, actually, you know what? I'll bring it up. The GitHub. Where is it? Atropa Pulsechain. Because it's separated from the rest of. I don't fully understand all of this. He's got the debt address, the Atropa. So that was the launch wallet, the Trebizond. I wonder how the Trebizond wallet is doing. I haven't looked at that in a while. Treasury token minter, DAI, USDC, and the fact that he includes these in his GitHub. I mean, that's very telling. That's very telling. Atropa, blah 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 blah. And then this is the writing contract. So it's down here. So this is the writing contract. So B08. So let's just double confirm that it's there. Yep. Oh, sorry, BOB. Yep. So BOB. So it's in its own like separate kind of a. People were asking me like, what's mintable and what's not. I'm not too sure. I basically have to like go and. You have to go and check all of these, but I know that no nukes is mintable. Where would Treasury Bill be sitting in here? Because Treasury Bill is mintable. So where's the Treasury Bill? Treasury Bill. So okay, I thought maybe he might have like separated it into like. But yeah, bond contract, bail contract, writing contract, and sukuk. So it's in its own little subsector. But what I found very interesting with this was a token where normally when I open up these pairs, as I've been going through, there hasn't been a lot. Like basically there'll be like one or two things that I'll bring up on the charts with the Atropa tokens. But this one, basically on the day that it launched, on the 7th, he bonded it with like a ton of tokens. So I basically brought all of them up. And so I wanted to show the writing specifically by itself because I thought maybe there'll be some kind of clues here with writing and what's going on. So writing now to this is PulseX, Pulsechain, and Atropa. So quite interesting because what's interesting to me about this is these are they kind of are actually, if you really, I was going to say these are liquidity, they were liquidity bonded, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because you can see here there's like a probably like it's kind of a trick. It looks like, I mean, if you draw a trend line, it looks like, well, this is like bullish. So they're not really liquidity bonded and this is bearish. Like this is trending down. And it is, and this is, but they're still correlated. You can clearly see it. So in the ebbs and the flows, you can see it in the ebbs and the flows. So if I get Pulsechain, bar patterns, let's just, because probably from this date here, so the 18th of December, maybe? It was 18th of December. Oh. Actually, I mean, you can kind of see it. I mean, it's very clear around about here in July. It's very clear. This is where it really gets bonded. Well, actually, no. Even before that, to be perfectly honest, it's like this area here was its like this region here. This region here, like Maria was cooking, and look at all the little volume to kind of get it perhaps to bond with the Atropa ecosystem. I wonder if the writing contract was used. So yeah, you can. It's reasonably clear in the sense that here's an up and here's a down. Here's a down. And then here's like an up. So it kind of probably, yeah, more so from, well, actually, we've got to make sure that we get these dates right. So what's this, the 18th of March? So actually, this is 18th of March. There we go. Yeah, right. So it's pretty clear. Like, it's not to the exact, but they're basically doing the same, up, down, up, down. So it's like bonding it in. But here, it was really like... Yeah, it was really just like the way that these tokens were used was really kind of establishing its bonding with the Atropa ecosystem. So, so we're doing some real nerd stuff here. So now this is USDC. Obviously, USDC is the same. TSFI, it's not saying much to these. To me, the most interesting was those, and now what it's doing with Treasury Bill. So Treasury Bill, across the board, Treasury Bill, I mean, like this will all just be arbitrage volume, just FYI. So I mean, it might be people buying into Treasury Bill with these tokens, but I'd say a lot of it's just arbitrage volume as people are buying Treasury Bill with whatever Pulsechain or something. So I really like writing now as like an arbitrage style token, because not only that, a lot of these liquidity pools are still in the thousands, whereas if I had to close them all down, but you go through the Atropa ones, like so many of the early ones are just like junk pools where they'll be like worth $1 or $2 or $3, and there's a lot of that in other tokens. So there's like an initial bonding, and then but you try to bring it up on a chart, and there's not enough data to bring it up on the chart. So it's almost like either he would have used it to just dump it straight away, and then that was all it was for that particular token, and then it kind of drained the liquidity of it, or it just created like a friction point for some kind of arbitrage. But I thought writing was very cool. I didn't know that helped me learn a lot today with writing, that there's definitely something going on with writing. So yeah, just really trying to understand this whole ecosystem to see if I can continue to understand it on a deeper level and get more alpha into the future. And then obviously with the alpha, the whole purpose of understanding the past is so that I can predict the future. So if I can really understand how this is actually working in a very on a very fundamental level, then I can make moves for it in the future. That's what I'm most interested in learning about all this stuff. So, and also obviously, yeah, by sharing it, and if other people have any ideas, then obviously other people can share those ideas. But also as I share these ideas, then other people can take advantage of these ideas, assuming that these ideas end up playing out. So okay, we'll just finish up on some of these comments. So roughly 600 holders of pDAI have 5 million or more of pDAI. Assume 1/3 of those holders are Richard Hart. That leaves 400 people. Man, that is a lot. That is so much. Imagine having more than 5 million pDAI and it gets to $1. Wow. You're just blessed. If you think in those terms, the possibility of a peg seems plausible. The possibility of a peg seems very plausible to me. It really, I mean, the possibility of it getting to $1 seems plausible. The possibility of it pegging, I was very uncertain of, but the evidence keeps getting presented that the P-maker vaults can work. So I'm just going to put out the positive vibes and just keep praying that it happens and that everybody takes care of themselves, doesn't go too all in. But wouldn't you rather have some skin in that game just in case it does? So we've lingered on 555 watches for quite some time here. So that's quite telling. So I click buttons. What's going on? So anyone know what a Scorpio is? Antares? Not too sure what that is, Andrew F. Wouldn't it make more sense to peg pDAI while the price is lower so less people are able to cheat? No, it wouldn't. This has been my argument. So like the Jeets will get out on the way up. The non-believers will get out on the way up. If you peg it to $1, then all the non-believers, there's going to be many non-believers. There's probably still going to be, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in my mind. I mean, like everyone's only thinking about what that does for pDAI. But if you do that, because assets are bonded, it's Hart's law. They're bonded by liquidity. So it's just going to like, okay, yeah, pDAI will get to $1 tomorrow, but everything else is just going to get destroyed. Everyone's assets are going to go through the moon on everything. Do you think people are not going to sell? People will just sell the crap out of everything. And then all of a sudden, like all the liquidity in the whole system is just going to get drained because it's just going to happen so suddenly. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for it to happen. It's like plausible. It's plausible, but it's the risk behind doing that is so high that I wouldn't take the risk. But if I wanted people to know about it, I would send signals. and do these little like test things to show you, hey, look at these little wicks that I'm creating on these specific days. And actually, you know what? I wonder what the dates of those wicks are. I wonder if there's any. I wonder if there's anything that can be said about that. So, because a lower price would suggest top holders are cheating. I don't know. I guess we're always going to be divided on these perspectives. So, some English RG streamer is mocking us all for investing in pDAI and thus the whole Atropa system. Go figure. Some English RG. What's an RG streamer? You mean like RG3? Captain RG3? Yeah, look. Hexist. Great name, by the way. Let them. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. I think everybody's going to get rewarded on this blockchain, no matter what you're in. But I think you're going to be less rewarded if you just waited for someone to come and pump your bags and you did nothing on the blockchain except hold your bags and waited for someone to pump them, waited for everybody else to pump them. I think you're going to get rewarded less. So that would therefore go out to the maxis. I think they would probably, if you haven't interacted with the blockchain, then why should you reap the rewards of the blockchain? It doesn't make sense. But you should also reap the rewards for holding and supporting the blockchain, yes, but not as much as the people that have actually been interacting with it and using it and spreading it and building it. So some English RH streamers mocking us all. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Let them do that, man. So when pDAI pegs, we'll see parity races. Funds can be used to recalibrate the difference. I think EHEX and HEX will be first. USDT will jump to $1 as well, as the R bots will make this happen. Yeah, exactly. Then he could set up a P stables stable LP liquidity pool. So as soon as I saw that stable LP under the liquidity of PulseX, I was like, he can do this with P stables as well. That's how you maintain the peg between the three assets. So Jitters, yes, Jitters will hit slippage. Exactly. Jitters will hit slippage, but there's only so much liquidity in the system. That's something that's undeniable. There's only so much liquidity in the system. So if I don't know if I can explain it, but it just doesn't it just doesn't make logical sense. So this is your pDAI and it just shoots up to $1. And then this is the token that it's bonded with. So they're here. They're both here. And then all of a sudden, these are the bonded tokens. Let's just say, I mean, multiply this by like tens of thousands with pDAI. You got this. And then all of a sudden, pDAI just, boom, goes to $1. And then there's no new liquidity in the system. Then all of these just go, boom. And that's happening all over the blockchain. So then, yeah, there's all this liquidity that takes this to $1, but then there's all these other tokens which can just get dumped by Jitters because they've just literally become like multimillionaires overnight. Like they cheat these, then it just you multiply that by tens of thousands. It just energetically, it's just like, oh, it just puts this under a point of friction that you wouldn't want to put it under. It's just like, oh. Whereas if you do it patiently, slow and steady, just like Mother Nature, everything slow and steady. There's no such thing as a quick fix. There's no such thing as a crash course diet. There's no such thing as get rich quick. Everything is slow and steady, nature's flow, going up slowly, side by side, together. Liquidity's filling in the system. New people are being onboarded, slow and steady, side by side. New people, oh, what's this pDAI? pDAI hit 10 cents. That's interesting, slow and steady. New liquidity entering the system. Yeah, they're going to have ebb and flows on the way up. Multiplying this by tens of thousands, slow and steady, all the way up, slow and steady. The markets ebb and flow, but the liquidity just keeps growing naturally and organically. The R bots are filling everything up. This just makes more logical sense to my mind, because this is how I would want things to happen if I was doing it. This is exactly how I would want to do it. I would not want to peg it tomorrow. I would not want to put the whole system at risk. It's just like, it's just all energy, man. It's all energy. So do you want to have the energy that's like this, and then the energy is going to be matched by the energy of the markets, the instant overnight euphoria. I mean, imagine you wake up tomorrow and your portfolio is worth tens of millions of dollars. Well, what are you going to do? You're probably just going to go, well, there's going to be all these people that are going to go, oh, tens of millions of dollars. How long is this pDAI going to stay pegged? I'm going to sell all my pDAI. I'm going to swap it into DAI. I'm going to bridge out. I'm going to go buy my mansion. There's this risk. There's too many. Like, I know that's what people want, but no, I'm stubbornly going to stick to my guns on that perspective that it's not going to be an overnight peg. I'm going to stubbornly stick to that in the hopes that it's not an overnight peg, because just nothing in nature works like that. So why would this? It's just there's too many dynamics of risk that can be like introduced into the ecosystem that is doing just fine right now. Why introduce that level of risk? But yes, there is arguments for both. I could be completely wrong, and if I'm wrong, I win. If I'm right, I win. So who really cares? So, because we're all going to win anyway. All right. Hey, Adam loves the cut of my jib. What's going on, brother? Good evening, Clintrons. What do you think about most? Do you think it will pump? Yeah, I mean, not financial advice, but my thesis is that it will. Yeah, my thesis has been basically that this is my thesis, that the liquidity flows are occurring between pDAI, well, not just pDAI, but the Atropa ecosystem and most. So they're inversely correlated. So this is on the 4-hour chart. They're inversely correlated. So you can see this big dump, big pump, big dump, big pump, big dump, little pump, and now this kind of sideways stuff, and then pump, and then a dump. So I'm hypothesizing that they're inversely correlated, and I'm hypothesizing that if everybody says that this is the Richard Hart wallet, and let's assume that it's not Richard Hart, it's someone who owns the PMaker vaults, or that did a big vote for the PMaker vaults, would you want to bring more liquidity into the idea of pDAI by advertising this blockchain with massive pumps? Would you want to do that? Or would you just want to pump just one thing? Or would you want to pump 20 different things? I'd want to pump 20 different things. I'm thinking, what would I do? What would I do? That's how I'm thinking about this. What would I do if I had that kind of money? What would I do? What's going to bring the most amount of eyeballs to the chain? I would do this. I would do this. I would do this. I would pump all of these. I'd let this chill for a while. The pDAI narrative within Pulsechain, you're not going to onboard any more people within Pulsechain. If you don't believe it now, you're always going to, like, you'll come at 10 cents, 20 cents. But do we really need that money in it? Well, we do, but bringing it outside liquidity is the important part. So yes, I think most will be just fine. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. It is amazing. I mean, it got up to, bros, can't believe I called the top on the day and didn't do anything about it. I mean, so what if you call it? You got to do something about it, right? So yeah, big whoops. Did nothing. Imagine that now. You could have 3x your bags. It's a tough life trading, but you know, when you zoom out on the 3-day as well, I mean, it's still I'm saying this is a possibility. It's a possibility that, again, no one's going to want to hear, and especially because everyone's got the idea that it's going to peg tomorrow, but it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. It's a possibility. And then we send. So that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do if I was a market maker. Something like this. Something like this. Get this to pump a little bit more, so maybe people here go, oh man, I effed up. I'm gonna rotate now into this, and then they've created this, then they sell this, so they've now just taken your liquidity again. Then they just start dumping it, and then they start pumping this, and then what's going to happen again? Then these people here, they're going to start selling out of this to buy this, and then they're going to dump this, and then they're going to pump this. So let's say, yeah, maybe Q1 is all about, maybe our Q1 is all about this now rather than this. And that also aligns with basically how it's been going for the last well, since its inception, really. Its bear markets have been very consistent. So if we go to a time Time. Oh, what about what's a cycle? Time cycle line. Let's have a look at this. All right. Well, yeah, there you go. That's pretty that's pretty accurate, isn't it? Look at that. There's kind of these three phases. Bull, bear, sideways. Well, yeah, it's reasonably accurate. Then it kind of breaks down here. So that's one way you could do it. Or you could look at it like, well, I mean, then yeah, if you're looking at it like this, then really it should just go bull as well. So this is why it's like, this is why TA is just all speculation and analysis. You can use anything to formulate, this is why TA is a bit, like TA is great, especially for crypto. It's really good, but in forex markets and stuff, it's a bit tricky, but it's all, you can make the things match your TA, So, okay, what do we got there? 87 days from the top to the bottom. Or let's go here to the top. 90 days. Nice round number. The top here to the bottom over here was like 150 days. Where was 90 days? 90 days was about here. Yeah, no, 150 days. So yeah, you don't want to make it too easy for everyone, do you? You don't want to make it too predictable either, do you? So could we go back to like a 90-day period? Yeah, possibly. Could we do a 150-day period? Yeah, it's too hard, man. It's too hard. So whichever way you look at it, it's yeah. I wouldn't be selling my pDAI. Put it that way. It's not worth it at this point. If you sold your pDAI here, then yeah, maybe like swap it into some of this. But I wouldn't be doing it. So pDAI to $1 will be the most disgusting event in crypto history. I can't even, bro. Pulse Pagan. It would literally. I don't think. Yeah. It will be the most insane. If it happens, it will be the most insane. Like, he's done it. If it does it and it pegs, we're the first blockchain to create a truly decentralized algorithmic stablecoin. That's effing huge. But where's the eyeballs? Why doesn't this have Terra Luna eyeballs all over it? Because Richard Hart is ostracized from the community. Why is he ostracized? Because of the threat that ideas like this present to the global financial system. It's a big threat. If you can just create your own dollar out of nothing, it's a big threat. It's a big threat. Would you sell everything or would you buy core assets waiting for further pumps? Stephen, if pDAI peaked tomorrow, would you sell everything or would you buy more assets waiting for further pumps? To be honest, well, if pDAI peaked tomorrow, all my other tokens would also go absolutely through the roof as well because they're bonded in liquidity. So I would probably sell everything and put it all into pDAI, and then I'd have a stable, well, hopefully a stable asset. That's what I would do. So yeah, I would do that. I wouldn't go chasing stuff because I'd be like, all right, I'm happy with this. I'm over a milli. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. Code won't break. It would just be the slippage. So it's a bull run within Pulsechain. Yeah. Is this the same question? Okay, yeah, that's the same question. Makes sense. And there are people like me who would sell it. I would inject it back into the cause and leave the rest there. Tax-free money. Yeah, the tax-free money. That's the thing. That's why I don't want to sell my pDAI. I want to just stake it or put it somewhere in yield. Like, I don't want just the pDAI you buy now. If you don't sell it, that's also a goat move. You basically bought something at less than a cent, and then it goes to $1. That's over 100x, and then you don't sell it, so you never pay capital gains tax. And then if you stake it or you put it in some kind of protocol where it's generating interest, it's going to be generating interest on the $1 asset. So the tax is only going to be on the new interest that's on the $1. So the tax implications of this is also Massive, massive. People's pDAI, grateful to be alive. Aros, bro, gratitude is what this blockchain is all about. Gratitude is like, yeah, gratitude is what this blockchain is about for me. It's really like, this is it. I don't think that there's ever going to be a better time in our lives to transform our lives financially. There's never going to be a better time, in my opinion. I mean, there'll be like these anomaly events, like it'll be the best opportunity for the next 10 to 20 years. Then once a metaverse comes out, or once a metaverse really starts exploding, if you can be at the forefront of the metaverse, I think you'll clean up. Like that's just going to like totally destroy the gains that you're going to get from this and from AI. Just makes sense. Then there are people like me who would sell it, a small portion back into the cause and leave the rest there. At the end of the day, exactly. So I just read those comments. Whoops. I can't think of nothing that brings more eyeballs than an instant peg. I mean, then where's the opportunity? Why would I come to the blockchain if there's an instant peg? Why would I bother coming? Well, there's my opportunity. There's an instant peg. Everything that it's bonded to has gone and done a 2000x as well. Well, why would I bother coming to the chain? So I don't like that logic. I don't like that logic because everything's bonded in liquidity. So every token is also going to shoot through the roof. PTGC is going to go through the roof. Teddy Bear is going to go through the roof. Everything's going to go through the roof. And then it's just going to be like thousands of existing holders that are just going to be sellers. Why would they buy more of those assets when they've just got an overnight 200x or like why would you do that? It was plus, I think it was plus 2000% on Pulse the other day when there was like a wick with pDAI. Then the opportunity disappears. That's another thing. So actually, again, instant overnight peg is like great for eyeballs in the sense of like what a marketing thing, but it's not going to onboard any new users because literally all the opportunity just disappears overnight. So again, I err with nature's flow. Nature's flow always wins. Nature's flow always succeeds. Nature's flow, baby. Nature's flow. pDAI is at 1.2 cents only despite all the evidence. What makes you think it will go to 5 cents, then 10 cents, then 20 cents? Well, nothing really. Nothing except for just more believers, more users onto the blockchain. So, yeah, just that really. Oh boy, could it do something like this? Yeah. What's going to make it go up? Yeah, more users onto the blockchain, more onboarding, more buyers. The SEC case getting cleared. Taxman scares me. A lot of swapping to get into the tickers. Oh man, yeah, Puffy. That's yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do for the last year's tax. It's going to be a nightmare. I was recording everything for a while, but then I just started doing so many swaps that it was just too slow to record everything. And there's all the minting of the tax tokens that you get sent to your wallet. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm praying that there's going to be some sort of compatible tax calculator for us because otherwise it's going to be an absolute headache. I don't know. This could very well be the last big bull market of our time. Crypto Stylist, what's going on? Yes, I agree. We've got like everything's just lining up. We've got Trump, the first United States president. So United States president. So literally the most powerful man on the planet is bullish on crypto. And he has the power to do the right things by crypto. So I don't think it's going to ever get better than this. I think we're going to continue to go up, but also this window of opportunity of being in Pulsechain, in this window of opportunity where if we do get to a peg, then think about what that does to all the assets. Think about what it does if it does it overnight, but think about what it does again if everything goes up and we like just the gains across the chain. And if we can lock those gains into the chain and actually create this decentralized financial system within the blockchain, which is what I believe the Atropa ecosystem is doing, then there's never like that's it for crypto. This is going to be the best opportunity of our lifetime for crypto. And then the next one we have to wait for is metaverse. I can't see how anything is going to get better than this. There'll never be another blockchain launch like this. There'll never be another fork of Ethereum that forks every system state. And if there is, so what? I mean, maybe you go there, but it's still like, what? Maybe that would be it. Maybe there could be another fork of Ethereum, but even then, I don't see it. I don't see it. So you'll chase for the next peg. Yeah, maybe. What's going on for Tina? I'd like to hear a discussion between. I've reached out to Decentralize Me. Yeah, but he doesn't want to do any more streams, so that's fine. So, but yeah, try to show him the idea, man, for sure. We are going there, riding the waves. That's the best way. Conviction that they are coming for sure. Once it pegs, all the degens will believe in the parity narrative. The race will be on. Not even talking about the new protocols that will be built on pDAI and memes. Exactly, Rich and Ed. There's so much potential that's going on here. So Crypto Tax Australia are good. BB, Crypto Tax Australia, are they compatible with Pulsechain though? Because I've used Crypto Tax Calculator, for example, and like a lot of them aren't compatible with Pulsechain. So if that's compatible with Pulsechain and it reads everything, I mean, I'm in like real degen tokens as well, like, you know, I'm in the trenches with the Atropa ecosystem. So I was doing some swaps on some real random shit back in the day. So, but I'll check them out. Thanks for that. Crypto Tax Australia. You know what? I'm going to quickly just, so I don't forget. Cheers for that, brother. Blockchain is only 3%. There is 100 trillion in the next 10 years. So exactly. So basically now is the best time to set up our position. So it's not to say that there's not going to be like bull runs in the future, but the beginning is always the best. Being in the beginning of Bitcoin was the best. Being in the beginning of Hex was the best. If you're in the beginning of Hex, you're still up. Even though it's dropped 99%, you're still up. If you got in on day one, you're still up. So Pulsechain that's what it's going to be like. I feel like being in now is going to be like you'll be up, and you're always going to be in this blessed opportunity, in this blessed position. Crypto Tax Australia. What? Nice. Coinly. Could you clarify, BB? I can't. Is this what you meant? Coinly? Because there is no thing called Crypto Tax Australia. Or maybe this one. Crypto Tax Australia. There we go. Nice. CTA. Nice. All right. Awesome. I'm going to leave it. Hey, Alex, what's going on, brother? So I'm going to leave it at that. So yeah, you got some little alpha there at the end as well, Alex. Crypto Tax Australia. Let's keep our eyes on this. Wow. 660 watching. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. My voice is crackling, and if you like the content, share it out to other people if you found it valuable. Otherwise, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day and a good evening and a good night.